So we'd like to bring to order the work session for the City of Nelson, February 25th, 2025. Call it to order. We'll have a moment of prayer. Father God, we thank you for today, Lord. We thank you for your provisions, Father. We just ask that you would be with us, that you would lead, guide, and direct us, Lord, in the decisions that we make for the city. We ask in Jesus' name, amen. We do the honors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Well, we can do that.
We just have to have a first and a second, I think.
We're not actually voting, so
Yeah, we're not voting, according to
Yeah, I
Jeff.
think the agenda looks just fine.
Okay,
same.
all right. All in favor? See what I did?
It looks fine.
All right, the park plan for redesign, with Michael Kidd, and I believe Andrea's here to represent, redesign. So,
Thank you. Wow, that was the quickest lead in being able to talk that I have ever.
this is a work session, it's not a regular council meeting.
Okay.
It was just, we already had him scheduled and his calendar is booked, so we wanted to go ahead and get this in front of folks.
Sure. No problem. Once again, I'm Andrea Greco with Root Design Studio. I'm a landscape architect. I've worked on the master plan for the parks in this area here as well, so I'm familiar with the area and have looked at things in detail. This is to provide you an update of where we are with the plans, and also just making sure we get sign off from you and where we're headed with some of the little tweaks and questions that have come up along the way, just to make sure that we've got your support and we're getting you what you want. So
we'll make a list of the things that you want approved, and then we'll bring them to our meeting the first of on Monday.
Okay. I was going to just walk you through the overall plan and just some details. It won't take terribly long in here. I have these larger boards as well, and you have the 11 by 17s. So for the overall park, I've got two options. One's option A, one's option B. The main difference is that we looked at switching around the basketball court. And I'll get into that in a second. And so for those of you that may not be familiar with it, let me go on this side. So this is looking right at the area right over here, across from the City Hall, basically. And this is Spring Street that dead ends in here. And this is where there were a couple of properties where the houses were removed, are in this area. There's an existing well that you can see sticking up from the ground, and that area is somewhere right in here. It's marked on there, and that's right over there. So along Spring Street, the idea is to put the basketball court and a parking lot over in this area. This is a little bit different. I also have a color plan that we did initially for the site. We looked at rotating the basketball court north-south. Reason for that is typically basketball courts are north-south, just so that you're not shooting into the sun. Probably not sunrise, probably isn't an issue. So we were looking at that. One of the things, and you may know more, our civil engineer is looking into it. There's this 25-foot state stream buffer. There's a 50-foot for trout streams, but as far as we know at this time, and we're still confirming, this feeds into Shark Mountain Creek, I believe, and in this area, it's not a trout stream, so we do not think that the 50-foot buffer applies, in which case we can put the basketball court in this direction. What that would do is you could put the parking lot in this area. There's some existing trees in there. A couple of them would need to come out, and have the basketball court be north-south in that area. The court would have fencing around it so the ball doesn't roll off, and there's some degree of protection. We have a handicap accessible parking space shown here that leads right into the basketball court. One thing I was working on as well is looking at a route, and we want to confirm, this is typical for parks, but we want to confirm that you want this, in having a handicap accessible route around the court to the trails. And what that would be is a sidewalk that's less than 5% in slope in some areas, or if it goes between 5 and 8%, you have a handrail and some landings. And we can achieve a sidewalk around the top side of the court, and there is a little switchback in this area. But that would get you to the trail system here, and you'd be able to continue down along this way with more ease. So it's also good for people with strollers, people with walkers, or just limited mobility as well, even if they're not in a wheelchair. So it's generally a good design idea, so we recommend doing that so that you can have a park open to people of different abilities. So that's the main change. The original plan had shown the basketball court over on the railroad side. It was east-west in this area, and the parking lot was over there. The other thing that's nice about this option too is the parking lot kind of stays out of the park. It's off to the side, you're in the park, you don't have to deal with cars in that area. So, there would be a sidewalk along the roadway. It's actually a little steeper than 5% in some areas in here, but not too steep, but continue the sidewalk along here. On the north side of the roadway, we have the community garden proposed in this area, and that would also have a fence around it, and that would have beds. Some of them we would recommend maybe having taller for people that can't bend over as well or as easily. You may not want to do that for all of them. Maybe that's just some of them, just save some money, that kind of thing. I'll show you an example of the fencing and an example of one of the beds in a moment. So coming around this way, we have a little roundabout here as well, and some more parking spaces in the cul-de-sac area there. Sidewalk comes along this side and down here, and then you have the pickleball courts in this area. The paved area that would also be a playground would be striping for like hopscotchy kind of games in that area. I'll show you an example of this. What we're proposing for the pickleball courts and also for the basketball court is asphalt with there's an acrylic surfacing that they put on top. You can choose the colors to it. It just provides a better surface for that. Asphalt is more economical. Every so often you will have to repave because of cracks and warping and things like that. You could also go with concrete, which is more money up front. It is more durable. So I can provide you a little bit more information on that via email if you want to just compare differences in those. So,
Any discussion on this?
okay. I'm happy to send that information on tomorrow as well for that.
Yeah, I know that. So what is currently down there now, because of where it's at, there's a lot of cracking and a lot of,
Okay.
yes, because the water, and we may have some of that cleared up now that we have a head wall and we've got the water's moving through it better, but it was if you look at what's down there currently, it's got cracks on it and it didn't, in my opinion, didn't hold up well. Roots from trees, all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
It's not there like 50 years.
Yeah, that concrete pad's been there for a very long time and it's in good shape.
Okay.
But that would be my concern. Is
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
courts. If you want to do a court that's gonna last, and not break down, that's my thought, but.
Sure. So coming around back this way, and we also have proposed pavilions in here, so near the the gameplay area here, a pavilion in this area, and across from it we have some steps up and another pavilion over here. And I'll show you an example of the pavilion type of fixture that we are proposing for that. And then, as you know, there are a good deal of steps that come back up to the street in here. There's a big grade change there, so we would have steps going up that way. And going off to the east here and further down, we'd have a walkway with some it'll have a little bit of like landings in it to smooth out the grades as we go up in that area, and that'll connect up to the top for the sidewalk along the roadway as well. Let me see if I'm missing anything in here. Oh yes, this other portion of the trail. So then we also have, in order to make it a complete loop, we have a trail that would come back this way with a small bridge over the creek. I think there's a couple ways we can address the bridge. I'll show you an example in a second of a wood, sort of like a boardwalk style bridge in that area. There is a little bit of a grade change in this area, so we would either need to do it with a small wood ramp if we want to try to reconcile that grade change, or we could do steps in that area. If we did steps, then it wouldn't be completely accessible the whole way around, because steps. But if we have to do a little bit of boardwalk, you just have an extended area of boardwalk going out to the bridge. But I'll show you what the bridge, at least with steps, would look like in a second. And that would just bring you back to a loop in this area, connect back to the basketball courts as well. So let me show you. So I mentioned the pavilions. We like to use these type of pavilions a lot. They're just very economical and they last a good amount of time. You've seen them before. This brand is Polygon. On our plans, we can put Polygon or Equal in case a contractor wants to substitute something else that's similar, but maybe they found a deal somewhere. Whether or not you want to have metal roofing, these are the metal pavilions. So it's typically would be metal roofing, which is also more durable. If you wanted to dress them up, sometimes municipalities put like stone, clad the bottoms in stone or things like that. There's simple things that you can do. Here's another example of one of those pavilions. So they're basically kit structures and they're very easy to assemble. And there are some options for colors and minor detail changes you can change with that. One of the things on this project for amenities, this isn't the best picture, but it's what I had from your existing restroom in this area. I didn't know if you wanted to keep the same style of trash can benches, that kind of thing, or have any preference for that. Not the biggest deal in the world, but I just wanted to make sure if there's an option, if you're happy with them, we can spec them and that kind of thing. So, I mentioned the acrylic surfacing for the top. These are examples of that, and I'm sure everybody is familiar with seeing those. They're applied on top of, they can go on top of the asphalt or the concrete as well. And we were suggesting for the game area that area might be better if it's just painted on. It would be simpler. See how it's working, see if it's being used. If not, you can change it up, that kind of thing. I mentioned the community garden, the raised beds. These would be the taller raised beds. These are an example of ones that we did at a senior living, active senior facility recently. You can see the mulch in between. Not sure the exact height on these. It's probably right about that height there, but we could also do the lower beds as well. And then fencing, this one's a little smaller, around the community garden. I did want to also get your feedback if you wanted a simple fencing, something like this with chicken wire, that kind of thing, something similar to what's at the playground, or if you were gonna want anything taller due to deer, that kind of thing. And if you wanted anything trenched in underneath. If you think that's all overkill and just a simple fence around it, that's fine too, but just, you know the area, you know what's roaming around here, digging around here. Just wanted to put those out there. Okay. And where's the bridge example? Oh. The bridge got printed. Well, I guess the bridge isn't in there. I can also do a follow-up and just send you the image of the bridge that I'm talking about, so you know what that is as well. Let's see if there are any other questions. The final thing is for a planting plan. We're just going to keep it really simple so that you don't have a lot to maintain. There'll just be some areas where we put some shade trees to just get some more trees out there. Along the pathways, put benches next to future larger trees, that kind of thing. Just logical stuff. So, but no fancy landscaping that'll cost you money to take care of.
Did Michael get with Barry Holder to find out if we could use the existing drainage?
Don't know specifically. Do you mean the to make sure that we don't need anything additional? Just we could use the.
Well, he said that because of the services for the
Okay.
courts and things like that, that it was possible that we would need drainage, and he mentioned a detention pond, and I'm like, no, we don't want to do that. We have a creek there, it can handle the flow of anything, and we've got header walls in that one, on the one property, so I think we can use what's existing there.
Okay.
So,
I'll double
you were
check with
supposed to
that.
check with Barry.
Okay.
I don't know if he's done that.
That didn't come up, so.
Okay.
Fruit trees. The fruit trees at dawn, so they don't get the quarry. You know, they incorporate it in there, or we can keep it there.
Oh, yeah. It's fall. Easy fall. And the court, so we had a meeting with Mark Marietta Quarry, and they're interested in doing some fruit trees. Green space type stuff. So I don't know if there's areas that we can incorporate those in, that would be good, like apple, pear, I think is in.
Okay.
So we've got an area that we can put some already, so.
Okay.
But, and I don't know if it's feasible, but I can see.
Okay. You could also put some pawpaws out there. Anyone knows pawpaws?
That's what Tom was talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big pawpaw person. Anyway, I think that was the most of it. I mean, we really just want to make sure the ADA concerns about those, the type of surfacing or the type of foundation for the courts. And I can, like I said, I can get you information comparing, relative costs and that kind of thing for them so that you're making a fully informed decision. Any fencing priorities on the community garden, if you're okay with the combination of high and low boxes for the planting areas, and the ADA accessibility of the area, and if you're okay with the change to the north-south of the basketball courts pending, we're okay with the stream buffer in that area, that we don't need to do anything extra for that. Those are the big things. There is one other thing for the parking lot, is if you wanted to stick with a paved driveway up to the parking lot, but then mostly gravel with the exception of the ADA space, or if you wanted it completely paved, if there was a preference there.
And I think what we talked about with Michael Kidd, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but is we were looking at getting the amenities started, and then council will vote, for what the concept they like, and then
Okay.
and then we'll have a better idea. But I think we talked about doing gravel, only again because of drainage.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
doing an apron into the parking lot and then the gravel. So.
Okay.
But I'll put that on here as well.
And if there are any strong feelings or something overnight that you think of based on the things that I said, that you have a preference or anything else.
Gotcha.
The one other thing I did want to bring up that was mentioned was potentially, which one of these?
Picking Street.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Just going forward with that, and this is hopefully this is the same one as I printed out, but this is what you were thinking of with going forward with this. And we would just wanted to see what all parts of it you wanted to go ahead. I think amenities were mentioned, but I didn't know if that was referring mainly to the court and the benches and just,
Yeah, I think we were looking at the court right now. We would back in. We were looking at the amenities, and then we'll back into the landscaping.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Okay.
And then the parking is all gravel, correct?
Yes, for this one it was. Yeah. Okay, so just the basics of the functional part of it.
I need to ask Barry.
Would you want any sidewalk on it at this time, or would that be a part of the later stages?
For this one here?
Mm-hmm.
Let me,
Okay.
let us look at that. Do you have sidewalk there or no?
I think there's one on the other side of the
So
street.
the other side?
So I think this was just, so once they cross, if somebody's on the other side, needs a crosswalk, have a little bit of a sidewalk area around it.
Okay, we'll look at this as
Okay.
well. Making notes here for Monday, June. Any discussion, council? Or thoughts?
No, I like that. We ended up though.
Sidewalk. Those. Thank you.
Yep, that's everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for her? You did a great job. Tell Michael we left with everything, and we'll actually have go over this again. Is there a way that we could keep that?
Yes,
history?
we can. Yeah, is it okay if I take my bullets?
Yeah. You can take it, yes. Yeah, I can put that on the draft of the we'll go ahead and then we can let the council take in the year as.
It's not too much trouble on the garden. I need to talk to the grass committee about possibly deleting some of the raised beds for some open ground planting, because I usually get one and I plant corn and flowers wouldn't be too bad for that.
And I think that was a suggestion, because I think the last time that Michael was here, he asked us what we thought, and we said, that it would we just wanted a place to pull up to it, we want a place to put our shed that's out there, and then I don't think we talked about fencing, I thought we just talked about an open field, we can fence it if you guys want to.
You almost have that area too for people that needed accessibility, or for older people, and then keep the other one for the time until we do.
And I mean,
with the big pot.
Can always add 2 beds for somebody that's maybe elderly or something like that, and see
Yeah,
what,
that's one of the blending of them, I think would be pretty.
yeah, what we get out of it. Okay,
Just let me know of what specifically,
Yeah, we would appreciate you making the drive down and everything, and bringing this and filling
Yeah,
up
no
the so. Nothing else, we're good, Friday, and then we'll do that, let's see. Thank you. Sure. Appreciate your time. Okay, next up is the 26 capital improvement projects for review. And I wish there was a way to put that in that, I'm gonna get somebody in here so we can put it on the TV, which we don't have to sit over here for.
Well, it's in the packet.
Yeah,
There's
a sheet.
yeah. Of all the projects that we currently have listed.
Yeah.
And numbers.
And I know we looked at this, so we can,
Do we have like any kind of cost estimate on this part?
we don't yet, he wants to, we have to vote on the design, and then the drawings are about 70% complete.
Okay.
And then once we vote on the design that we want, then, and he knows that, because we talked about it the last time, doing phases of it, so the amenities first. We could even do this, maybe the amenities and sidewalks, and then back into,
You have the money.
we do,
Yes.
all, you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, maybe council will.
I mean, since you're doing the project, why don't you go ahead and do the
Yeah. project
and then move on to the next project, because you have the funds to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with that. So if we've got the funds to do it, I'm not crazy about the pavilion, I'd like to see the wood pavilion. That's just me, but to give it a little character, I mean, metal just is so, I don't know. They don't look good, they don't hold their shine after a few years from what I noticed and I've seen. So, LJ has some wood ones, they look nice, they've been there, I know, I've been taking courses for like 8 years, and they still look great, so. But anyway, we'll talk about when we bring this back up, we'll talk about funds for it, probably, let's say, April-ish, once we get cause he's, like I said, he'll turn the drawings around pretty quick, he said, once we have, they're, alright, so looking at your sheet here, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, well, so, as you can see, this is where we left off at 20, for fiscal year 2025. So, we have the stormwater project that's supposed to be completed this year. But we will be rolling into our fiscal year 2026, which, by the way, we're gonna have a schedule on that, but we do need to kind of start having conversations about upcoming budget and, probably need to, I think we need to have a work session in the end of April.
Okay, for the budget meeting, okay. Let's go ahead and add that.
That way we can go ahead and just get the budget.
Out there.
Yeah, well, what gives us a little bit of time to work on it, so that way we're voting on it on June the 1st
Okay.
meeting, or June meeting.
Let's do that for April, let's look at, and let's back into a date, Monday when we have everybody here. Sound good, cause I know Easter's in there We have all a lot of people will be, there's, the kids' break is in there. So, bye, thank you for coming. So, we've got that whole week, the kids are out of school, you know, so that's gonna be a thing we will have to plan around it.
And then this updating our CIP will also go along
With the budget.
along with that. And then we'll also, as we decide on what upcoming projects we wanna really focus on, then, we can also, I'm gonna also update that book, capital improvement book,
Okay.
so.
Have you heard anything back on the sidewalk project with the county?
I don't know, Bill, or like that.
That is also listed on this, ready to be completed.
Okay, I need to reach out.
Actually, that and the park project are the two main things, other than the stormwater.
I'll try to get a hold of him this week so we can have something back by Monday on that.
So is there any ideas of capital needs that are gonna be coming?
We're planning to replace one of the mowers, so it's been a while.
That is,
And you may already have it.
the mower is slated to be replaced in 2027.
Well, they have three. So there's a 2015, 2018, and then like a 2020 or 2022.
Okay, so we can move that up
I think they flip on like every, I can't remember how many years on it. Under 20, I think.
and there's 3 of them.
The last one, I think we paid 17 for.
Yeah, and that's with the stuff, because I know they looked at some of the diesel, probably the different brand, that was drastic in one year,
So, let's do this. It's probably safe to say with those mowers that we replace one in each year.
Yeah, I mean, honest with the cutting.
I mean, you get on a cycle of,
Yeah.
No, I think that's aggressive.
you know,
Yeah. I mean, because we've got two really good ones. And then the third one that's a 15, I agree, it's 7 years old.
so how old are the other two?
2020
I think
and,
one's 2015, 2018, and I want to say 2020, but I'm going from memory, so.
no, we bought one in 2020. So we probably bought
It
one in
might
2020.
be, it might be newer than that, I'm not sure. Because I want to say we were in like a 4 to 5 year cycle with them. Might be 4
That's what I was
years.
kind of thinking.
Because I knew that 15 should be coming up if it hasn't already been, which realistically should have been done already. But that's like their backup one, but now that we have 3 people down there, and Ricky's only there 2 days a week now. Like Jake goes down to 3 days a week. So most of the time you'll have at least a couple of people on the mowers.
So
But I know at least one
this year,
is
maybe
coming up.
every,
Well, we start having a lot of maintenance on them, we know.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
doing away with my useful life cycle of 5 years, okay?
I mean, if you think about it, because it's 2026, so this one's 11 years, the oldest one we have is 11 years old.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's beginning, it's like the deck's got holes in it.
Yeah.
It's whole thing, so.
So it's safe to say we'll go ahead and put it down to replace one this year, and then how many years, like maybe wait 2 years,
The 2018.
every other year?
7 years, so maybe.
We can do at least 4 years, and that was before they had to.
I'd probably say maybe replace the 2018, in 2027?
We're pushing 9 years on that.
I know you've got a plan for it, but
I can't
I've
remember.
never
offhand.
said, well, replacing a good piece of equipment, but I know you have to plan for it, so.
Yeah, right. Well, like the one that's 2015, it's giving us problems, so.
Once they start giving too
Yeah,
much
it's-
trouble, it
right.
becomes a hassle.
And the other ones, I mean, the other ones are decent, but I mean, they're starting to show their age. We're still able to keep them running, but,
But it's also having that life cycle for
Yeah.
more request and SPOS funds. If you
Yeah.
replace these every,
so I would say, yeah. So I think the 2018 is probably due as well, but if we do the 2015, in 2025, we could do maybe the 2018 in 2026, and that'll give us 2 new ones, and then the 2021 we can push out a couple years.
Yeah, because they're usually have 2 in there when it leaves, and when all 3 of them are down there, there's a lot of grass, there'll be
So
3 of them, but that would
2018
usually have it back up.
we'll replace in 2026. Okay.
There was another piece of equipment they were talking about too, but I can't remember what it was.
That's,
We've got 2 of the tool cats right now too.
yeah, that one I've got a replacement for it in 29.
Yeah. They've been, I think
That's
the
all
older
of them.
one's been in the shop a couple times. I think it's a 2012. Into the mini X.
Yeah, so we've got the park, Pickens Street Park. Where is the timeline on that?
Like, when we get drawings, we can go ahead and when the council votes, yes, we wanna do the amenities, we wanna do the sidewalks, and we wanna do, say, the fencing or whatever. I mean, we'll give him specifics that we want in the initial phase. If we wanna order the trash receptacles and the benches ourselves, we can do that, right?
Yeah.
That's on us. The pavilion, like I said, we could probably hire somebody locally to build what we want for, $30,000. If we wanna look at that versus the metal building, and those still run 30 to 35, and then you got labor on top of it, so you're still gonna come out better doing our own. I know we want the pavilion, that's a definite, everybody's like, we want that, so. The other thing that we need to look at is our maintenance barn, because we have our
Maintenance
property.
barn, that's what, yeah.
Yeah, and Jeff has been super busy, and I have got to get with him. It won't be until second week in March. He and I are gonna have a conversation on, I know that they're planning on doing it in 2026, but the maintenance of the road, he's looking at where we're putting our stuff. And I told him we need to go ahead and move on ours. We have a land lease, we need to go ahead and, now that we have our property, our goal is to at least get some gravel, get a road in there, and get our equipment on our property.
That land cost us $120
So-
too.
Yeah, so we need to get,
The land
That's
cost,
just.
because it should be closing, I think it's 30 an acre, which is still a fraction, but they're selling.
yeah, so it's 30K, so it's 120. We'll have to write a check for that.
Okay. Okay.
So, and I don't know how much a maintenance barn is right now. I have not gotten that far into it. I was worried more about a road and some gravel and just getting the property purchased, but.
Well, I
Once you
think-
get it cleared, you're gonna find out too, you may need some walls and everything else too,
Yeah,
and clearing and.
there's one area there, that Barry said he wouldn't want, but he said there's one area that's a nice area that he thinks will be fine to clear, put a barn there, so my fingers are crossed for that, but we won't know until we have it surveyed and get some drawings for it, but I'm gonna get with, I think his name is Scott Gordon.
He was an
yeah.
architect for Cherokee Harding.
He told me that to get with him and he would help me look at some buildings and get some pricing and who sells them and that kind of stuff to put before you guys, so I will reach out to him as well again, now that we have everything settled. Anything else you guys can think of with regards to that property? So we got the road with Scott, with Jeff, easement road. That's Jeff. And then the Scott with the buildings. I'll try to have something, it probably won't be, probably because they're busy doing something, I don't know what it is, but they've got stuff going on right now. It probably won't be until the second week of March, so I probably will say first of April, I'll have things for you guys on that. And I'll have a best guesstimate maybe for per size of the building, so we'll have a base cost.
okay.
Okay, so And then the only other thing that I can think of that I'd like to be planning for, I'm hoping the council will be with me on that, and that's our turning this metal building, revamping it for a community center. So,
I think people will love that.
how do you do? I'm excited.
Okay. Is that something we wanna put on this plan?
Well, I would like to
Official?
see it on the 5-year capital improvement plan. I'd like to see it added, and then we can add to it as we go, you know. I mean, at least it'll be on there, so when we start looking at, you know, we get a building and we start to move over, we can start getting pricing to,
27?
yeah, maybe 27. I'd like to do it, I'd like to do that relatively quickly. So,
Yeah, and that'll all hinge on how fast we get the other thing.
anything else you guys can think of that we want to add? We did, had a great meeting with, Marietta, on Friday. Also had a meeting prior to that with Thomas Benton. They're almost ready for their annexation paperwork to come over. They were finalizing some things. They purchased some additional property to put a buffer between, the houses and what they're doing. I think 18 acres. They purchased another 18 acres that's going in there. So, they are excited to help put some fruit trees in, and we were looking at a place to get a few in right now that would maintain. And the far end of the property where the community garden's at now, but over closer to that house where the big tree fell, we were looking at maybe doing a few pear trees and a few apple trees there to get started. Since we still, you know, we're a ways away from the city hall, but we've got our community garden there for right now, so it'd be a good place to start. Then I want to reach out to Evan and talk to him about the Bradford pears that are splitting here, and see if maybe he would be interested in letting us use, you know, apple trees. The Mark Marietta Quarry is going to fund that and plant them and get them going for us. So,
And it would be fruit trees for the public.
yeah, it would be for the public. So I love that idea. And then the other thing was that we talked with her about is our little popcorn machine just ain't cutting it. But we have people, there's just like, we're popping popcorn, trying to get popcorn out. So anyway, they're like, we knew it was kind of gonna be, they didn't realize it was small when they bought it, but they said that, you know, to get with them, find another one and get with them, and they'll do that. And they'd still be able to sponsor us for Christmas and stuff, so. And they also sponsored us for Easter, so $600 for the bounce houses for the kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they're huge on community and giving back, and they're gonna donate time to come down and try to help out if we have it on the day that Dawn's not out, so. Let's see, I think that was that, keep going. There's so many good things happening.
Is there anything on this list that you think is now obsolete, that the council may wanna vote to remove? No longer feasible?
I mean, I think that where we're at is, we still want to try to do the bus stop safeties. We've got those in 2025. I wonder if they've got kits we can order for that.
I would think maybe.
Let me see.
I mean, they've got the ones where they,
You need to figure
Yeah,
out where
bitches
you're
out.
going to, just because a lot of bus stops are within private property.
Um,
So it needs to be ones that are like the city owns or something.
yeah. I'm wondering, because I know a lot of kids catch the bus right here on the corner.
Yeah, maybe a group of them would come up.
So I wonder if we could do one on, the bus comes up this way, if we could do one on this side at the end of our drive, or at the end of our paved parking area here. Maybe that's not gonna be that big. And then I have to find out from Liz where else she stops to do a group pickup. but I know she has a group pickup on Pickens Street.
But she stops at the end of the one. They stop at the end of that one subdivision that's not ours, the next one down.
I think she's talking about Pickens drivers. So Liz will hit the ones like the neighborhoods up
Pickens
there
Street.
and at the post
Where is
office. The post office is the one for here and then the way.
Habersham, yes.
I was thinking going that way, I was like looking at you.
You said not ours, I'm like,
I know, I mean, at the.
Yeah, I know they stop there. Obviously they stop at
Is that not something,
Y'all
just a
say
local
both of our
contractor could do?
entrances.
Oh, yeah.
We had just some general specs and
Yeah,
put a
I
bench in
know.
it.
I can get some pricing, like I said. I'll
What are we
find out.
talking about, just like a hut?
It's almost like a lean-to, probably metal roof.
Just a regular style.
Yeah.
They see ones where it's plexiglass,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
for safety. That way you can see.
Yeah,
it.
and it'll be like with plexiglass around it, and then you'll have a bench. Literally, it's like 4 poles. The lean-to, so it pulls the water off the back. There's
Yeah.
a bench on the back, and then you would put plexiglass around the 3 sides. And then there's a bench that goes between the posts,
Gotcha.
so they could sit or stand.
You just have to figure out your bus stops and your ride.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, the one here would be pretty easy, but like the ones on the Cherokee side, most of those stops are gonna be, it's like somebody's front yard.
Yeah.
I'll take that
And
into
then
action,
there's a big one up here,
see what we can
Pickens
find.
and Blue Ridge, that turns so tight and it's all private property, everything was private and all that. And that other house that they redid just sold too.
All of ours just sit in the car, like they don't,
Yeah.
there's nobody waiting out,
Yeah.
like out, standing, you know what I mean?
I've
Like
had a few of
parents
them
sit
come
up
up
and.
here at City Hall, like if it's
and
raining, they'll, but this is the only place I've seen them without walking
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah, I don't see, like where we are, I don't see just kids like standing around. So,
How about, I know there's a drop at the post office area there.
The parents are usually there, because
Okay.
a lot of them lived like down at the end of our road. And the parents just line up like back into the spaces across from the.
So maybe we start with one and see how it does. The one out
I
here.
believe that here would be a good idea, 'cause
Yeah, it's
we
here.
don't
it's city
have to,
property.
we don't have to worry about the property situation and then it's right here.
Yeah,
So-
and if it's used, then.
And then maybe they'll come from, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Wherever to
but it's like
use
I've
it.
seen the kids up underneath the, roof thing out there, over the conduit.
Ah, okay.
Not many times, but a few.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time you do have parents in other room.
Once we get through 25 and into 26, we'll start looking at design plans for the city hall. But the bulk of our projects are here, and I want to focus on those rather than trying to,
It'll be a minute before we can do,
yeah.
because of the big projects we have going on right now.
So I'd like to just kind of put that on the back burner for this year.
You can
And
also account for it in this law stuff too.
yeah, and part of next year, and then maybe towards the end of 2026, can start looking at with Scott on how to get designs, because he's got some really good ideas to get it, like do a, you award like,
Like a contest.
yeah, it's a contest thing. He had a really good idea.
The park, the newest park that's currently here, is there anything that's gonna need to be upgraded or replaced or anything in the future?
You mean the new one we just put in?
Or the-
Or
I'm
the,
talking about the big one.
the big one?
Cause it's aging.
I think the equipment's in okay shape, but I think there's still room that you could add additional things.
I think we talked about adding maybe something for the older kids, like take the rocks out, put the 2-story tower with the big slide on it, you know, and then in between it is there's like a rock wall goes up the side of it, and then there's it looks like a ladder that goes horizontal, and that you climb across or whatever to the other piece, but
And we need the sunshades out there too.
yeah, we do need some sunshades. We've been looking at
There's
that.
that one.
So we could go ahead and put it on the radar
Yeah,
Yeah,
that it's
to
gonna
just
need a
revamp a little
revamp,
bit.
because how old is it? It's what?
they finished, I think, cause we bought that was 2013, I think they finished in 2014 maybe.
Yeah.
Cause I think they were wrapping up maybe mid-2014.
So it's probably a little ways to go, but you could add the
Yeah.
tent.
There's still a lot of room for other things that you,
Yeah, we talked about maybe putting some, my only thing is that we talked about putting like, the sunshades over the picnic tables, but you don't have kids climbing on them, and I don't, you put 10 up there, somebody's gonna get cut. So maybe, instead of that, we put cause they're poles, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're poles, and then the sunshades go off of them. So the pole is what holds it up, the pole's probably about as big around as
Yeah,
a
it's a
good,
tree.
yeah, a good pine tree like
Yeah.
that, so, and then it'll house the shade. I'll get some pictures of it. I was somewhere the other day, and I think it's Veterans Park in Canton. Is that where it is, William? Is that the one?
Probably.
It has the sunshades, I think. If you're out there, if you're in that area, if you stop and get some pictures, that'll be good. And then I'll try to find some as well, closer this way. Yeah, but sidewalks is huge. I know we wanna try to make the loop. We wanna try to get that done. So we had talked about when they do the amenities and we do the sidewalks, if we could go ahead and extend the loop. So go ahead and do the Spring Street, or School Street, and then come on up, yeah, and tie into, do Dogwood and tie into Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
So that's that, but I think it's on here
So
already.
School Street is, because I think that was gonna kind of go hand in hand with the park project.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it extended it all the way out. And so the next phase would be to make that loop.
Yeah, you may wanna add Dogwood to make the loop. That's a good one.
Is there any interest in completing that road next to the stairway that goes down to 5? There were plans from, I think, early 2000s that had been approved, and then I think the last second they pulled it. But the entrance to the stairway, like on the north side, was actually a road that was going down to 5 and connect. But it might reduce some of the traffic, especially because it's right across from the quarry.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
Just
think
food
it's
for
a bad
thought.
idea, to be honest, yeah.
You know what it would do if we were able to get help with that? It would put a red light there, which would stop some of the accidents because you're gonna slow down and stop.
I wonder if that's a discussion that you could have with the county to bring it up to see if that might be a joint venture to.
Especially with the fire station going in, it would be easier for them to access 5 and going all the way down.
When I meet with Jeff, I'll ask him.
Because there was something with having to have approval to go to the railroad tracks, and in order to go to those tracks, you had to close one of the crossings inside, like within the city, and they closed the Spring Street. It's right in Holbrook, but a lot of it's the stuff that was buying.
It's an easement is what it is. And it's listed at there, that's an easement road that goes all the way, it
It
literally.
already has it.
There, we have the plans for it.
Yeah,
It just literally came down to the traffic light, the city didn't want to pay the traffic lights, everything stopped. Because they were supposed to be like, if you went down it, as soon as you passed the stairway, there was gonna be a circle road, like just a street with a cul-de-sac at the
Pull that
end.
plane back out,
Or
take it
no.
to Cherokee and be like,
yeah.
this is what you think we could get a partnership.
Get a folder started for that and then, cause I'm gonna invite him here again.
Yeah, and the railroad company approached us, I think 2 years ago, because we did the closure at Spring Street. So
I
that all
think it could
holds.
probably be a multi-project, I mean, I'm not speaking for anybody, but we've got, not only would the fire department not have to cross the railroad track.
They'd still have to cross it. You'd just be crossing here instead of Jordan, and the Jordan crossing's so terrible.
Gotcha. And then you've got Mark Marietta who would benefit from it too, so they would,
Yeah, those-
I'm sure they would kick in as well.
Yeah, that,
Matter of fact, Dawn said something about that in the
We
meeting.
talked about, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, because we had actually talked about it, she said it would be very beneficial for them,
Okay.
especially if with all the stuff they're buying, they're gonna expand. You've got the concrete plant on there too.
And as an action to see if that's something that we can do.
I'll go back and try to find the plans, I found them a year or two ago, because James was the one who told me about it. Everything had been approved until they didn't want to pay traffic light.
What else do you guys have? Anything you can think of?
No, community center.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Maintenance shed, those are the next thing you've ever looked at on top of the other stuff.
Yeah, with those are those are significant projects, so. I think this is a great start.
Okay, so we'll go through this, and you put something together for us, we'll go through it in detail with dollars
Move it all around and
for April work session.
Yeah.
Okay.
this will also get us started on the small schools.
Yes. Any other discussion around, the capital improvements? What you wanna see on there for our work session? Okay. All right, we'll move on then to number 7, which is the charter amendment discussion. And Kelsey, since you were the one that spoke with, our representative, I'll let you.
Okay, we sent an email just asking if it was possible to amend our charter to allow for the appointment to fill vacancies in office due to death or moving, whatever, just until, basically fill the seat till we have another election. Reached out to Rick Jaspers. He wasn't sure, contacted their attorney, and then he emailed me Sunday and said, it looks like they will be able to help us out with this. You need signed resolutions from the city requesting it to be done. And he's gonna get the language of the resolution and get the paperwork done on his end. And then he will put an announcement in the progress to start it. So once we had contact from him and he said that he could do it, and our attorney was kind of like sending other emails. I think Canton might have just done the same thing. But Jeff had said that Talk and Rec already had it in their charter to allow it, but it's only for special circumstances like this where we just,
Have a
show
death
them
or,
special.
you have people that resign prematurely.
Yeah, and it's just to fill it till the next election, so you don't have to hold special elections, whatever. But anyway, I just wanna make sure y'all are on board with that before he really starts digging in.
I think it would be beneficial, not just for this situation, but if it ever comes up again, at least we've got an avenue for the next.
And it's not appointing
People
for
like
the
to
remainder of the
choose to-
term,
No.
it's just appointing till the next available election, so we don't have to hold a special election.
So put that on the agenda to vote on Monday.
Did you ever get any word back on the June?
No, I've not heard from Stacy yet. I know she was checking with their attorney to see that there was something with that election and what it was for, was why she wasn't sure if we'd be able to piggyback off of that one.
Figured they should have been able to ask by now and find out.
Yeah,
We'll reach back out to her this week, that she hasn't followed up with us, we'll reach back out to her. So we'll add this one to we'll add, charter amendment discussion, and we'll vote on it, discuss and vote on Monday. And then we have an executive session for the property, so, we're not gonna be in there either, so, can I get
I just adjourned.
yeah, we're adjourned to executive session, we're not voting, so we'll be back in a minute. Anybody that wants to stay is welcome to. It's just a property, acquisition question or two.